Councillor Keenan here, just making sure you can hear me.
Hi, Councillor Keenan. We can hear you. Thank you.
Check 1, 2.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Brampton Committee of Council meeting for Wednesday, June the 4th. As we begin today's meeting, we would like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. We recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit as the original rights holders and the signatories of Treaty 19, the Ajatanse Purchase of 1818, and that the agreements made therein are foundational to our nation-to-nation relationship. As a city, we are committed to our ongoing role in reconciliation through meaningful action rooted in truth, justice, and respect. We are grateful to the original caretakers of this land who have ensured we are able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. And just a note to the public about that land acknowledgement. It's been revised at the City of Brampton, and it has been revised in consultation with the Indigenous community here in the region of Peel and in the City of Brampton. So moving forward, that is the new land acknowledgement that we will be using at all of our different events and meetings. And the reason why I'm highlighting that today is because it is also Indigenous Heritage Month, and I just want to make sure that we are very clear in the City of Brampton that we support our Indigenous community and acknowledge the land in which we reside in Brampton. The next item of the agenda is roll call or call to order. I believe we have everyone present, Madam Clerk, either virtually or in person. Who do we have virtual today?
Through you, Chair, we have Councillor Keenan and Councillor Medeiros joining us online today. Councillor Pellecci has not joined yet.
Okay, I'm sure Councillor Pellecci will be joining us shortly, either
and
virtually.
Deputy Mayor.
Perfect, and Deputy Mayor will as well, I'm sure. But we do have quorum. Next item is approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, you have a couple of revisions that were recently published.
Through you, Chair, the following revisions have been published. 5.1, announcement, Brampton Entrepreneur Centre. Presentation has been added. 5.2, announcement, Brampton Tech Ecosystem. Presentation has been revised. And 7.1, staff update, government relations matters. The presentation has been added.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do any members wish to add any further items to the agenda for today? I see no one on the board. I don't think there's anyone virtually. No? Thank you. Okay, so no amendments to, no additional items for the agenda today. We have a motion moved by Councillor Tour to approve the agenda. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. The next item is declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Do any members have any pecuniary interest to declare today? I see none. The clerk will so note. Next item is consent. As part of our consent process, I'll read each agenda item that is subject to the consent motion. Any member may verbally identify the item to be held for debate during the meeting, and any item that is not held for debate will be considered as part of the consent motion and voted on for approval. I'll start by reading the following items to be considered for consent. 7.1, staff update, government relation matters. Consent. 10.2.1, staff report, Toronto Metropolitan University Rogers Cybersecure Catalyst Funding Agreement. Consent. 11.2.1, staff report, budget amendment and endorsement of the City of Brampton 2026-2030 youth engagement strategy is held for delegations. 11.2.1, staff report 2025 transportation asset management plan. Consent. 11.2.3, staff report, strategic asset management policy update. Consent. 11.2.4, staff report, amendment to the electronic signature bylaw. In consent. 12.2.1, staff report, request to begin procurement, sign manufacturing, and installation parts for a 1-year period with 4 optional 1-year period extensions. In consent. 13.1, referred matters list, which is published on the city website quarterly. Any members wish to have hold? Okay. Councillor Power, held. 15.1, closed report, request to begin procurement management or managed detection and response services for a 3-year period. Consent. 15.2, closed report, authorization to negotiate and execute a new lease, Ward 3. Consent. Closed report, authorization to negotiate and execute a new lease. In consent. Wow, look at us. Okay, so Madam Clerk, if you want to just summarize and confirm the one item held by council today.
Through you, Chair Santos. 11.2.1, staff report for a budget amendment and endorsement of the City of Brampton youth engagement strategy was held for the delegation. And 13.1, referred matters list was held.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a motion from Councillor Power to approve the consent motion. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Announcements. We have 2 announcements today. Each announcement is provided 2 minutes. The first announcement, sponsored by myself, is the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre and Co-working Space update. Jennifer Vivian, Manager, Entrepreneurial Services, and Prince Khan, Supervisor, Brampton Entrepreneur Centre and Co-working Space Economic Development. Please come forward with your announcement. You have up to 2 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. So good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council and city staff. Prince and I are excited to be here today to provide you with a brief update on some of the exciting developments happening at the Entrepreneur Centre this summer. Next slide, please. So we're always looking for ways to better support our entrepreneurs and the small business community, and we're pleased to share that as of April 1st, we've extended our co-working space hours to provide more flexibility and access. We're now offering extended co-working space hours on Tuesdays until 8 and Thursdays until 6 p.m. This change was made in response to community feedback and the growing demand from startups and founders who need access to space outside of traditional business hours. This ties directly into the next part of our update because the value of space is not just in the desks and Wi-Fi, but in the dynamic programming that brings entrepreneurs together to learn, grow, and connect. So I'm going to pass it on to Prince to talk about some of the things we have happening this summer.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good morning, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to allow Jennifer and I to speak today. Next slide, please. So the team itself, we've decided to really amplify the noise in the community and really showcase what Brampton is really all about. So we have a number of events happening throughout the summer and throughout the year, which we do encourage participation from local entrepreneurs within our community. I'm just going to highlight a few of our major events, just so you know some of the things that we are working on. The first event I'm going to highlight is our Entrepreneurs Connect series, which is sponsored by Meridian Credit Union. It's been sponsored since, I believe, 2018. And the partnership is still strong. We run evening events with them where we have workshops and activities with local entrepreneurs. Recently, we've also started an initiative where we're trying to work with local educational institutions, Seneca College, Centennial, Sheridan, Algoma, where we're having hiring students for your business on a budget sessions happening, where the business owners can learn about the opportunities available at local institutions and how to really collaborate with entrepreneurs and how do you provide them budget-focused students that can help them scale and grow their business. We've also started Founders Nights, which are dedicated to men and women, and we really are supporting their mental health in terms of an entrepreneurship perspective and the things you have to deal with as a man and a woman when you are running your own business. There's different challenges respectively, so we're making sure that they're heard and people can have a voice and a say. Last few things, we have our Brampton Ignite, which is a fireside chat that we host on a bi-monthly basis, where we bring in high-profile speakers to talk about their entrepreneurial journey and really inspire our local community. Try and chat. So recently, because of, we've just seen a trend with people wanting to connect on a local level. So we've started an initiative called Try and Chat. We go to local cafes, and we have sessions happening in local cafes where we get entrepreneurs to come, collaborate, network, and work together. So it's not a formal networking session, but rather an informal way of connecting and communicating. And that's it. If you want to go to the next slide. And like I said, we have a lot of events happening, and this is an evolving schedule. So this is not everything, but we are doing a lot over the next few years, or few months.
And I know our time is up, but I just wanted to quickly flag an event we're hosting in partnership with the Brampton Honey Badgers, the Brampton Board of Trade, BIA, and Invest Brampton. It's our Business Before Basketball at the We Are Brampton Honey Badgers game on July the 3rd. We're excited to bring the business community together as a way to introduce them to the Honey Badgers if they haven't yet seen a game, but also to connect with other business owners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have some remarks and a question from Councillor Tour, Chair of Economic Development.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for this excellent presentation for all the events that are coming up this summer. That's a lot that's happening. I particularly just want to take the time to highlight one that's happening is the summer market. I saw your students the other day working under Princess Guidance at BEC, and I saw the social tiles go, I think, just last night. I would like to invite all members of public, members of council, everybody do join us at the youth market that's happening August 9th at BEC. That's the first of its kind. BAO has been very successful in their artists markets, one in the summer, one in the winter. I hope that's a trend that we can continue even through this youth market here. So thank you for putting that together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I echo the accolades from Chair Tour. I'm excited also that the hours are extended at BEC, hoping that we can extend them even more in the future. And thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
One question.
Oh, Mayor Brown, go ahead.
I think it's great. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and innovators, their schedules are not necessarily 9 to 5. So I'd love for us to look at opportunities to have more programming off traditional hours. And I wonder if something we could look at is since we have so many summer students working for the city as part of our internship program, there might be opportunities to pilot different hours this summer. If we could coordinate that with maybe Melissa or Marlon's office, if there may be some staffing available to see if it would be popular. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe those off hours wouldn't work. But if we find in a summer setting that it's a big hit, then it's something we could look at on a more permanent basis.
Yeah, through the
Awesome.
chair, would be happy to. I don't want to take away from Tara's announcement, but BVZ is going to be activating the space on Saturdays in June to run their Brampton Innovator Program. So we're also looking at ways to collaborate
space.
with different partners in the Innovation District to extend programming outside of just the extended co-working space hours.
Wonderful. Well, it's a great space. We want to see it busy.
Yes,
So
of course.
thank you. Thank you for
Thanks
the great
so
work.
much. Thank you. Next announcement is the Brampton Tech Ecosystem upcoming events and initiatives. Councillor Tour, Chair of Economic Development, is the sponsor. Tara Hunter, good to see you. Interim Sector Manager, Innovation and Technology, Economic Development. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor, members of Council, City staff, members of the public. I am Tara Hunter, the Interim Manager for Innovation and Technology and Economic Development, and here to provide important updates about what's happening in the Innovation District. So I'm going to start with Web Summit and then go into a few upcoming events. So last week, the Innovation District was profiled on the world stage at Web Summit Vancouver, the world's premier tech conference. We had a strong brand presence and several significant meetings with other startup ecosystems, including Surrey, Vancouver, Portugal, Poland, and Qatar. We also had a ceremonial signing for joining the Portugal-Canada Chamber, advancing our economic ties. Meeting in person and building these relationships is increasingly important, specifically as we focus on diversifying and reaching different markets. We had over 30 Brampton startups attending Web Summit Vancouver, along with our TMU partners Rogers Catalyst and Brampton Venture Zone. A special thank you to Brampton Venture Zone, who hosted a meetup breakfast and networking session for our tech startups. And thank you to Deputy Mayor Singh, who also participated in a panel. I will move on to some upcoming events. If we can go to the next slide. I'm seeing my time tick down. Okay. So I will start with Founders and Funders. So this is on June 11th. It's in partnership with Altitude and Brampton Angels, and the full day event includes a pitch competition, panels, workshops, and an awards presentation for the Brampton Angels. This first of its kind event highlights the Innovations District leadership in the incubator innovation startup ecosystem. I'll also speak to the Brampton Venture Zone programming that Jen just mentioned, that's starting on Saturdays at the Brampton Entrepreneur Center. They're hosting their 6-week market validation program to inspire entre-curious individuals to become full-time technology entrepreneurs. This is the beginning of an exciting collaboration between the Entrepreneur Center and BVZ that will see even more use of the BEC space in after hours. I'll also call out Toronto Tech Week. I'm out of time, I'll go quick. So just wanted to let you know that we'll have a presence at TiQuest Summit, that's at Mars Discovery District on June 26th. And our Innovation District partners will be hosting an activation at Up Express in Union Station. Each partner will have a different day to do their activation and promote their services that they provide in the Innovation District. Lastly, I'll call out the July 24th event. This is Future Canada XR/AR Roadshow event. This is Algoma's Center of Excellence for Immersive Technology. They're hosting it at the Rose, and they have a bold vision for XR, and we're excited to see it come to life in the Innovation District. So those are the updates. I hope it was helpful, and the team will be happy to come back with updates in the fall. So thank you.
Thanks, Tara. Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Tara, for that update. Just want to take the opportunity to also thank Deputy Mayor Singh for attending Web Summit this year. That happened for the first time in Vancouver. Mayor Brown and I couldn't make it, unfortunately, this year, but he represented us well, along with the team at Economic Development. So thank you for that, and thank you, Tara, for the update on all the events that are happening outside of the events that we just heard from Jen and Prince as well. So it's a busy summer. I'm excited to see everything happen in July and August. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tour and our ECDEV team. Next is Mayor Brown, I apologize.
I just want to thank Tara for that presentation, and to say that obviously we're excited with that partnership with Web Summit. Thank you for the Deputy Mayor for subbing in and attending and speaking on one of the main panels. I had to go to Ottawa for Big City Mayors, where we had an introduction with the new Carney cabinet for the first time, meeting some of the important ministers as they relate to cities. And so because of that, Harcourt presented Brampton's pitch at the Web Summit. But these are the jobs of the future. It is the largest tech conference in the world. And as you recall, last year we had the first day in Brampton, and Patty Cosgrove, who's the CEO of Web Summit, has been praising our innovation district. So I think it's a great collaboration, and there's a number of Brampton companies that build partnerships and get contracts by working in that Web Summit ecosystem. So another successful year working with them, and thank you to our Deputy Mayor for stepping up.
All right. Thank you again. Next is public delegations. We have a delegation from Todd Kyle, Brampton Library CEO, and Desiree Jones, Board Vice Chair. If you could come forward, good to see you. I guess Desiree's not joining.
Yes,
She's
sorry.
virtual. Okay.
No, Desiree's unable to join us
Okay,
this
that's
morning.
okay.
I'm sorry about
Welcome,
that.
Todd. You have
It's just me.
That's okay. You have up to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyways, my name is Todd Kyle, CEO of Brampton Library, and this is our update to Committee of Council about expansion and community impact. Next slide, please. So these are the current members of the Brampton Public Library Board. As again, I apologize that neither our chair or vice chair were able to be present. We do have two of our councillors here. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. This is the vision and mission of the library. I won't read it because I realize we have limited time. Next slide, please. But in terms of our key performance indicators as of the end of 2024, our market penetration, which is the percentage of Brampton households with at least one active library card holder, is up from 35 to 37%, as is the total number of active card holders. Physical borrowing is down slightly, which likely reflects the continuing effects of the downsizing of Chinguacousy branch, but also of South Fletcher's, which is in a temporary location in Shoppers World at the moment, quite small. And digital borrowing, as you can see, continues to grow. Next slide, please. As you know, the library is looking to expand, and these are the recent efforts in that regard. So the expansion of Gore Meadows is now open, which includes a new makerspace and a study room, which allows us to offer after-hours study hall at that location. South Fletcher's, as I mentioned, is currently closed for a major renovation, concurrent with the energy retrofit of Susan Fennell Sportsplex, and is temporarily located in rented space in Shoppers World Mall, which is going very well. Our 9th branch, Clairville, of course, just opened. We had our great grand opening on Saturday. Thank you to everyone who participated. 300 to 400 people showed up just for that particular event, which was great. I didn't plan the fire alarm in the middle of it, though I just like to say that was an accident by a community member. In the coming years, we're also looking at working on the design of new branches at the Howden and Embleton Recreation Centres with this council's support. Following that, we're hoping to continue to work on a library in the Centre for Innovation and at the planned urban community hubs. Next slide, please. Just quickly, here are some photos of the expanded space at Gore Meadows. Next slide, please. And this is a rendering of the exterior design for the renovated South Fletcher's branch at Susan Fennell. Next slide, please. This is a rendering of the interior of South Fletcher's, which will add several study rooms and program rooms, which are needed by the community. Next slide, please. And this is our current temporary location at Shoppers World, which is approximately 5,000 square feet. And again, the community response to that has been excellent. Sorry, I got lots of photos here. Next slide, please. This is the new Clairville branch, but photo taken, unfortunately, in the winter, but it's on the 2nd floor of the office building at Queen Street and Gore Road. But again, the interior looks much better, which I'll show you. Again, next slide, please. This is what it looks like inside. Thank you so much to Councillor Power for showing up for a tour about a month ago or so, and to our grand opening, as I said. Getting down with our time here. So next slide, please. We'd like to give you a quick overview of recent exciting developments that help support the city's strategic plan and help us impact the community. Again, I won't go through what the tenets of that are. Next slide, please. So to support health and well-being, we've held various workshops, a wellness series for seniors, continue to do legal consultations. We're investigating other important community services as well to partner with the community on. Next slide, please. To support culture and diversity, we're continuing our partnership with the Brampton Arts Organization on the Artist in Residence, which we expanded to a Writer in Residence. Thank you to Kevin Heron-Jones for being that person. We had a series of Black History Month events. We did author talks as part of the Festival of Literary Diversity. We launched a newcomer seniors group. We also participate in the Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Benchmarks, which now puts the library at the 2nd highest ranking of progressive, 4 out of a scale of 5, for all of our efforts, and we're working with the community partner on translation of our marketing materials. Next slide, please. In addition, one of our flagship programs are our summer reading clubs. Last year, there were over 5,000 participants. Of course, this is a year ago, and registration is now open if anybody is interested. Next slide, please. To support urban and neighborhood growth, we've had a service desk for Algoma students at Four Corners Branch. We have a new makerspace at Gore Meadows, as I mentioned, successful tech and teen programs, and the Entrepreneur Zone, which Jennifer just talked about earlier, and our Storytime adventure programs, which continue to show that the library is an important 3rd space in the community. Next slide, please. Very quickly, this is some of the things we're doing to support transit and connectivity. Next slide. And the things that we are doing to support environmental resilience. Just like to point out that we launched a video and board game collection as part of our Library of Things. Next slide, please. Very quickly, want to thank the departments here at the city for working with us on our master memorandum agreement to support the efficiency of support services. And I think we'll probably leave it there because my time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Todd, we've got a couple of questions. Councillor Fortini, followed by Councillor Brar.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Todd, and I want to thank the two councillors, Barr and Vicente, for being on the library board. I've been at Gore Meadows and really nice, and, you know, Clairville, you have about, 250 people coming through there a day, so it really captures that little area. Looks like we're going to have these libraries all over the city, and it's going to be a really big helpful. Just can't wait for Howden to get moving too. So thank you for all you're doing. Thank you to the two councillors.
Thank you so much, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Brar.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair, and just want to really say thank you, Todd, and to all of our board members. Councillor Vicente and I are so proud to be on the board and seeing how long we have moved along. And having these discussions when you come here, I think it's a perfect chance to, for council members to ask these questions and also be updated on certain things that we need to. So just really want to say thank you so much for giving us that update, and it gives us council members an opportunity to engage and interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Todd. And just a question for me as well. Thank you very much for all the work that folks are doing at the library, especially given the limited spaces that we have in Brampton. I would love to see more. Certainly in wards 1 and 5, I have no libraries in the area. Just wondering if you've got any updates on how things are going with the library eventually coming to CFI.
I don't have too much information about that. I believe that there's agreements being worked out with the partners, and the library will be engaged in the design and planning.
Okay.
Re-engaged in that process as that moves forward, but that's about all that I know.
I just want to make sure that the library knows that you know that certainly myself, Councillor Vicente, who sits on the board, definitely wants the library there.
Yes.
We don't have any in our area, so thank you very much, Todd.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Motion to receive the delegation from Councillor Fortini. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Next delegation is from Javin Courtney, Principal Consultant, Revive Strategies, regarding the youth engagement strategy. We've got this really awesome kind of summary here, but we're looking forward to your presentation, Javin. Good to see you in person.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Councillor Tour.
Just before this delegation begins, can I request council's indulgence, since this will be the last delegation we have today, if they can get some extra time? I don't think they'll be able to go through this in 5 minutes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm happy to support that. Anyone opposed? That carries. Okay, you do have a 5-minute extension as well.
Okay, wonderful. Through the chair, thank you for having me this morning. Mayor Brown, members of council. My name is Javin Courtney. I'm the principal of a consulting company called Revive Strategies. Over the last 10 months, we've worked closely with the city departments, including the Youth Strategic Initiatives Group, Communications, and Recreations. We've also spoken to over 1,200 young people across the city of Brampton to bring forward to you this strategy that's in front of you, and I am seeking your support in this strategy. We can go to the next slide, please. When we started engaging in this process with the city staff, we were looking around the city of Brampton and saying, like, what are some of the strategic reasons why you may want to engage in a youth engagement strategy? And one of the first reasons is just demographic. This is one of the fastest growing large cities across Canada, not only in Ontario. It's also one of the youngest cities in Canada. 23% of your population is between that 14 to 29 years old, which is kind of incredible from a demographic standpoint. When we were also looking at some of the assets, the youth engagement infrastructure existed within the city as well. We counted over 200 initiatives, programs delivered by the city, delivered by the school boards, and delivered by the libraries, for example, and nonprofit partners. So there's an evolving ecosystems around youth services that exist right here. And then from a talent standpoint, through the CEO's office, the Youth Programs and Initiatives section has been stood up over the last few years, driving some really important corporate initiatives like the internship programs that you see, as well as an ability to really coordinate youth services at the enterprise level. So we were seeing some really great assets. If we go to the next slide, please. There were some other really great strengths that existed in your ecosystem. Innovation in youth hubs and recreation facilities like the Susan Fennell Youth Hub and the additional one in the planning process. That's what we saw as a huge asset. And as we engage young people, we heard really positive feedback about that facility as well. We also heard through our feedback loops as well. Some of you city councilors here online and in person, you also have youth initiatives within your existing wards, volunteer opportunities that engages hundreds of young people across the city as well. We saw that as an additional asset as well. And then from a culture standpoint between the bureaucracy, we see there's elements where youth engagement is captured. For example, the Parks and Forestry Recreation Master Plan, there was a component around youth engagement. So that culture actually exists as well. From a gap standpoint, and we'll see that in the next slide in a minute, what we did see is that there is no formal youth advisory body that exists within the city of Brampton, which is dissimilar from other similar municipalities across Canada and also in the Greater Toronto area. We also saw that there was no formal requirement necessarily to track youth outcomes at a municipal level. That skill set is evolving with the new department that stood up. We also saw from a gap standpoint too that there's an undersized enabling infrastructure pieces. So the youth engagement team that sort of manages these pieces, they're relatively small, scaled out to the goals that we have in mind here. And then we also saw from a gap standpoint, engaging young people, those with multiple barriers or high risk sort of circumstances, that's an evolving skill set across the city as well, and it's a bit of a gap that we're hoping to address. We go to the next slide, please. So this slide just really speaks towards, from a youth advisory body, a mechanism whereby young people can elevate priorities, policies, or even advise on some of the things that come forward to you in council. That does not exist within the city of Brampton, which is dissimilar, again, with some of the area municipalities. If we go to the next slide, please. So we started this process I mentioned back in August of 2024, and through this process, we did engage over 1,200 young people. We did that through 11 pop-up events. We did that through a citywide survey that was driven through social media. Thank you to the communication groups for the help in that. We struck a youth advisory committee made up of 10 members representing the various wards across the city as well to provide some recommendation and feedback loops. And we also hosted 4 focus groups with young folks as well to get their perspective on what's working and what's not necessarily working particularly well. If we go to the next slide, please. From a demographic standpoint, though, one group that spoke out more powerfully in some of our feedback loops, it was that 14 to 18 group that represented a bigger chunk of the survey results. But from a youth perspective, we also heard from a broader range from demographic groups, including those 25 to 29 and 19 to 24, which informs a series of recommendations. If we go to the next slide, please. Mentioning the survey was the major tool that engaged the most number of young people. Over 651 young people completed a survey. The survey had, I would say, 3 broad goals: understand how young people want to be involved in the municipal decision-making process, identify the specific priorities of youth aged 14 to 29, and explore effective mechanisms to engage youth with the city overall. And through that survey, we had representation from all wards across the city. Some of the areas where you see it is a bit grayed out. It's a function more, those are industrial lands, more so than residential communities. But we had a great sort of representation from all wards to get those perspectives in there. We go to the next slide, please. Some of the things that really stood out to us from a feedback standpoint at a high level: youth need more space, safe spaces to gather, meet mentors, and be themselves without judgment or barriers. Number 2, from a communication standpoint, youth found the city's communication infrastructure very complicated to actually navigate and very difficult to find information dedicated to their demographic, easily accessible on the city's various sort of online assets. If we go to the next slide, please. We also heard from older youth in particular. They're struggling with transitions from school to stable careers and need some more assistance there in terms of pre-employment trainings, mentorships, and sort of opening up those doors. If the municipality can provide some help in that direction, we heard that powerfully as well. And fundamentally, we also heard about the growing, youth have a growing understanding of their mental health and are seeking more resources and support for their mental health challenges, in particular mental health resources that are ethnocultural specific as well. Go to the next slide, please. So we took the feedback that we heard internally from staff. we took the feedback from the 1,200 young people we spoke to. We ran it by the Youth Advisory Council, and through a back and forth process, we arrived at some of the strategy elements that we see before you. So from a vision standpoint, what we're trying to do here is create a city where every young person belongs, they contribute, and they thrive. And from a city standpoint, what everything is organized around is what we do every single day. The mission, it's really to create pathways to engage, lead, and give back through advocacy, civic participation, leadership, and leadership development. If we go to the next slide, please. The strategy is organized around 6 themes with some key actions under each themes and recommendation sets. The first priority is foster youth representation and advocacy, with a recommendation that's really captured here is like develop out a youth council or a youth mechanism whereby youth can provide feedback into the city as a whole. Strengthen communications and outreach focused on youth. So that's about collapsing some of that digital infrastructure on one place so that young people can find the events, the jobs, the great things that are happening through the entrepreneurship hub in one space rather than having to navigate a more complicated system. Number 3, sorry if we go back to one slide, please. Number 3, from a priority standpoint, is to increase awareness of some of the great programs and services that exist across the city. Priority number 4 is about removing barriers to employment and career development, backed by expanding out a mentorship network. Priority number 5 is about promoting youth mental health, which is really focused on partnerships with the region of Peel to drive things like youth mental health awareness days and weeks to make the information more easily accessible to young people from that 14 to 29 age group. And then priority number 6 is connect youth to environmental sustainability efforts, which we really heard from younger youth wanting to connect out with their natural environment and more opportunities to participate in things like park cleanups and other outdoor activities. If we go to the next slide, please. Our recommendation hereby is to say, if this is approved by council today, we're suggesting to city staff focus really as a first off in establishing that youth cabinet. Youth need to have a feedback mechanism within the city as a whole, and they need to be sort of more on an ongoing basis engaged. So start there, and then also start with enhancing some of the communications pieces in phase 1 of the plan that's in front of you. In phase 2, we see now that's when you start to expand out some of the engagement and programming pieces and the employment pathway pieces that's recommended in the strategy. And by phase 3, we see that that's where you see with the youth cabinet established now for 2 to 3 years, with the programs now well in motion, we see there's a sustainability of youth engagement within the city as a whole. And then as we get into the last phase of this work, it's about really monitoring, evaluating what's working well, what's not from a program and services standpoint. We go to the next slide, please. Just want to say thank you for the opportunity to present this in front of you. Happy to take questions. I think it was really great work, and it was a pleasure working with city staff on this particular initiative. We got connected with a lot of information to learn about the city bureaucracy, the many programs and services that are delivered, and we heard really positive things from young people about some of the assets that this council has invested in over the years. So we're just seeking your recommendation, your approval on this strategy. But happy to take any questions at this point.
Thank you so much, Jayven, for this. We do have questions. Mayor Brown, followed by Councillor Tour.
So, just procedurally, when we adopt this report, I know Councillor Tour is very passionate about our youth strategy, and I just wanted to recommend that maybe he could be council's lead on this. Technically, you're still the youngest member on council, even though you just turned a year older yesterday. But I know when we first talked about this at the beginning of this mandate of council, you talked about having a youth council advisory mechanism. And of course, I know Councillor Santos, you were instrumental in us building this youth internship program that I saw work so well at the provincial and federal level. So procedurally, just to the clerk, when we adopt the report, Councillor Tour, if you'd accept that, I think that would be a great area for you to contribute.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Councillor Tour.
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you to Revive Strategies for this excellent report. I believe all council members have had a chance to get a presentation about this earlier on. I want to thank all the staff that are listed in this report as well, but I know it's taken months of work on getting this done. So Melissa Key, Brinder Bhatti, Amrit Kuner, Elaine Sai, Victoria Sugrim, And from the recreation team, Aaron Hashani, Shamiso Magumbe, Felipe Lopez, and from Communication Services, Rubina Sood. Thank you to everybody that's poured their heart into this. There's so many different divisions at City Hall that engage with youth at different levels. We do it at the Entrepreneur Center, through the different active teams. It happens at recreation, through the youth hubs, and now it's happening through the youth engagement office as well. It's good to see all of that getting consolidated into one youth strategy. I think that is much needed. Youth in our city have traditionally not felt, heard, or seen, but we are the youngest city out there, the very low median age, very talented city. At the same time, I would say the current generation of youth in our city are probably the one that would rank the highest in terms of civic pride, that are very proud to be from Brampton. I think we really need to tap into that, take advantage of that, let them be our ambassadors. They're going to be our future leaders, but let's make sure they have the best resources to do that. At the same time, let's hear their feedback on how we do things here at a municipal level, but hopefully that reflects changes at a provincial and federal level of government as well. So wanted to say thank you for that as well. Thank you for highlighting one thing that I always, when we talk about youth, you're talking about 14 to 29 years of age, a very broad age category. It's good to see them being split up. I know youth in their teens are very different from youth that are post-secondary, and then youth that are graduates that are out in the job market as well. So it's very different groups of youth that you are capturing in this as well. I would say, looking at the recommendations, we would like to see, we need to expedite. I know I've had this chat before, looking at Marlene here as well. We need to expedite setting up the youth cabinet. That shouldn't wait till 2026 to 2027. It should be ASAP. I'm glad to see that we have found money, existing monies from a different project that we are able to allocate towards this for any staffing requests that are needed for this. But let's get that youth cabinet set up as soon as we can. School year is ending right now. Kids are writing their exams. But come September, excellent time to engage with their youth, excellent time to put it out there. They're seeking applications or nominations or however the process is going to unfold. Let's get that going, but my hope is January 1st, 2026 is the date we're looking at, not December 31st, 2027. Let's work closer to that date, have this cabinet up and running. We're going to make mistakes and learn from them, but we'll keep going as such. Have the cabinet, the subcommittees, different focus areas, keep the same city staff engaged throughout the whole process. But let's get that moving sooner than later. Looking over to Jason as well, I would say thank you to Rubina on your team for her input on this report, but let's get that comms support towards this as well. The city does a fantastic job in getting the message out, especially on social media, but again, youth doesn't really connect too well with that right now because we have corporate messaging that goes out that's very professional, totally different audience. Let's have something that's very dedicated just towards our youth. And when I say that, I specifically would highlight Instagram and TikTok as two platforms that we really need to focus on. Facebook, maybe not so much. I know TikTok is always controversial when we talk about government, but those are those spaces where our youth is at right now. So let's have that dedicated communication channels. Let us know how we can work towards that. But I think that'll be key in engaging with our youth. Lastly, again, just want to highlight, just reading through my notes, just want to highlight all the good work all the different teams are doing. Shout out to the recreation team. They're doing a youth drop-in basketball program in my area at Louise Arbor Secondary School. Has been super successful. Consistently 25 to 30 kids drop in at this basketball program. They've grown a lot over the last few weeks. The program's coming to an end very soon. But I'm hoping programs like that expand across our city, outside of our youth hubs as well. Right now we just have the second one under construction, but we're hoping that these youth hubs, the city acts as a youth hub itself. So once again, thank you for the report, but I'd hope to see all these things get expedited a bit more, and I think you'll have council's full support on that.
Thank you, Councillor Tour. See no further questions, just a few comments from me as Chair of Community Services. I have to agree about the communication side of things to our youth. One of the best parts of being a councillor for me is actually having a youth council in wards 1 and 5 for myself, and there's 300 young people in my youth council. And the other best part is actually taking the students and kids through the tour of City Hall. And I personally take them through, for example, the pictures of years past or terms past in the chamber, and really showing to them the importance of representation and leadership at the City Hall table. I get them to sit in these chairs when they're here in the chamber, so they feel really connected to decision making. So to Councillor Tour's point, yes, we absolutely have to expedite, I think, that youth cabinet. They love actually being here. And the feedback that I get back from the teachers and from the principals after those tours that I participate in is that they've learned so much. And some of those moments are so change-making for them for the rest of their lives. So yes, I think we do, if we can, expedite that. The other thing on the communications piece is that with the youth council that I've had, if I post something on social media, they don't really pay attention. I'm considered like the mom who wants to be cool, but isn't to them. And what does work, where I see hundreds of people participate, hundreds of youth participate, is peer-to-peer.
Sure.
That's the other reason why the youth cabinet is so important, because the peer-to-peer, the teenager to teenager, young person to young person, communication and the way that they talk in Sigma language, whatever that term is, that is what will get their attention. Not necessarily me or the mayor or even Councillor Tour standing behind a backdrop. So I think that's really important. The other couple of questions I have is, and we spoke about it during your presentation to me, we are doing a lot for youth. Some of them don't know it yet, but we have a lot, from the youth hubs to the Explore Brampton Youth Pass, to the library programs, to the BEC programs, to the Atiba Hutchinson soccer courts, to the youth hockey, free youth hockey training. We do a lot. And what I fear is that we're handing everything on a silver platter to all these young people. What I want to hear is how they are committed to our city and how they're going to give back. What is their investment in the city of Brampton? Because then all the investments that we are making into their future keeps them more established in what they're doing for Brampton. I'll give you an example. I organize an Earth Day cleanup event every single year in the wards that I represent. Over 300 young people showed up to clean up Andrew McCandless Park. Within 4 days, the park was full of litter. I hear from the parks team that the majority of the litter is caused by the high school next door, which are the same students that participated in the park cleanup. So I've started a park stewardship program to get those students who go to that school to clean the park regularly now. But nonetheless, we need them to say, yes, we care about the environment. Yes, we care about the city. We're going to help clean it up, and we're going to maintain it that way. That's the commitment that we want to see. And then finally, I have a question, Jay Van, which I didn't get an opportunity to ask you in the presentation you gave. The relationship with the school board. So we've had questions at regional council, also with Peel Police, with the challenges that we have trying to communicate with the school board to support these students, whether that's accessing programs. And quite frankly, it depends on the principal of the school, whether or not counselors can actually make that connection with the students. What are your comments on like how we can strengthen that relationship with the school board, or how to, like, do the students even have any connection with the school board?
Yeah, my comments, thank you for the question, Chair. My comments are twofold. We did hear this from young people as well, a lot of their feedbacks and recommendations. You should be doing this in partnership with the schools. And I think the response we get back from city staff and what I've seen across the GTA as well is, well, we are trying to establish those relationships and drive some of these initiatives, but getting everyone on the same page at the same time is deeply complicated. The things that I've seen that works really well, it's those local relationships, honestly, as you mentioned. It's really the school principal to the youth worker or the youth manager at a local level that can activate things locally is some things that I've seen has worked really well. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it across the GTA at an institutional level where you can reach out and activate these great things for young people. It's just definitely happening more locally, unfortunately, at this point.
Yeah. So I know, I know that we're going to be bringing up the report and passing the recommendations of the report shortly. But I think one of the things that we need to consider is, number one, forwarding our report and this presentation to the school board.
Great recommendation.
So that they're fully aware of what's going on. And then secondly, possibly Councillor Tour or the mayor or me or somebody from this council actually finding a way to delegate to the school board. Because I'm getting pretty annoyed that we are not be able to coordinate with them. And I've tried myself, and in fact, their process and procedure of how they conduct school board meetings is very difficult for people to actually delegate. Like, it's really hard. So I think we need to add that layer and kind of force it on the school boards to listen to us as one of their partners.
Yeah, agreed. The relationship with the school board would be an enabling factor, especially that group 14 to 18 to 19, or 14 to 19. Critical for them, that relationship with the school boards.
Yeah, we've seen success, like the Turner Fenton cricket pitch and some of the other partnerships we've had. But some of these other deeper, meaningful things for our students outside of just parks and recreation, I think is necessary, particularly with youth mental health.
That's right. That part is very critical. And as you said, the recreation group, I understand, has the deepest relationships with the local schools, but it's very rec focused ultimately, and sometimes that's the disconnect with the young folks there. You need a broader sort of array of opportunities there.
Yeah. Awesome, Jay Ben.
Thank you so much.
So at this time, I would, if there are no, Councillor Tour, question.
Sorry, thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to get back on for the second time. Want to echo your comments about the school boards.
Yeah.
Frankly speaking, our school boards, I think in Ontario is a broken system right now. I know the Ontario government's talking a lot about it as well. I do hope they make some changes to it. We are really lucky that we have really good principals, really good superintendents, or just workers at the school that are willing to work with us and help us execute some of these programs. And that's definitely an area we need to fix. Just wanted to get back on actually to give a shout out as well to the youth engagement team. I think I missed this in my comments that they do a fantastic job with our summer interns. How many interns do we have this year? 200? Is it? Like 200 or so? 150 or so. That's a lot of young kids to have in city buildings and to manage them all. I just want to say thank you for that incredible work. I know we see students in our council chambers at every meeting now. We see them walking across our hallways. It feels pretty good to see younger and younger people within these buildings. So thank you so much for all the work that you do behind the scenes as well to keep the summer students engaged and involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Fortini.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just to jump on the part where the school is, I'm probably the oldest one in this room. And I remember when I was 12, 13 years old, we used the schools.
That's right.
We used to go in on traffic night, weekends, all summer. It was always open. I don't know what went on. As the years went by, everything got shut down. So I'm glad that the city, is actually working with the school board and getting people back in, because we used to play floor hockey, we used to play ball hockey, baseball. We had teams against other schools. All that's all disappeared.
That's right.
So
It was the
you
asset.
guys are all getting back to it, and we have to. As I say, they're doing a great job to connect with the schools. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have the report, and I think we're done questions. Jay Van,
Thank you so much.
We'll receive the delegation and the amended report recommendations shortly. There is an added amendment, number 4, that staff be directed to expeditiously develop a draft terms of reference for a youth cabinet, ideally to be established and operational by January 1st, 2026, and that robust communications plan be applied to engage local youth. And I'm going to add another recommendation, if I may. that Mayor Brown, on behalf of the city of Brampton, write a letter to Peel District School Board and Dufferin Peel Catholic School Board, Dufferin Peel District Catholic School Board, and Peel District School Board, yeah. Requesting a meeting with respective chairs and directors. I guess they're directors, right? Rashmi's director? Yeah. Chairs and directors. And other interested trustees. Regarding improved collaboration with the city of Brampton as it relates to supporting youth in our city. And that the presentation from Revive Strategies be attached. And if we could also CC the Minister of Education at the province on that letter, as well as Paul Calandra. Oh, is he now? Oh, yeah, that's right. He switched. Sorry, folks, I just made that up on the spot. Any changes to that or tightening up from folks? We missing anything? Should we include local MPPs? No? Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. Moved by Councillor Tour, as amended. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. Thank you very much. Oh, and we receive the delegation as well. And also, Councillor Tour is requesting a photo with our youth engagement team, anyone involved with this strategy, as well as Jay Van from Revive, please. We'll take a couple of minutes to do that before we go to the next item. Okay. The next item of the agenda is government relations, which was added onto consent. Community services, there were no items. Legislative services, there were no items. Economic development section, I believe that was put into consent. Any questions from members of council regarding the economic development section? Any questions from members of the public? Nope, seeing none. Moving on. Corporate services, I think that was put into consent, everything. Yeah, any questions from public or from members of council or committee? Seeing none. Public Works. Counselor, no, nothing? Okay, everything was in consent. Any questions from the committee or from the members of the public? Seeing none. Referred matters list was held by Counselor Power. Counselor Power, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In conjunction with this upcoming PDC meeting, 507 Balmoral is going to be coming up for a public meeting. I just wanted to get an update on RM 54A 2024 rental unit replacement policy, if we can do that.
Through you to Councillor Santos, through to Councillor Power. Staff have completed a draft of that report and will bring it forward to the July Planning Committee. I would just note that for the record, that policy, should it be endorsed by Council, would apply across the city, not just to a specific development application that's still in the public meeting stage.
Thank you. Nothing else, Councillor Power? We're good? Perfect. So we don't need a motion for this. This is just questions for referred matters. Next item is public question period. Madam Clerk, do we have any questions from the public about any item on this agenda today?
Through Chair Santos, I see none online.
Thank you very much. All the items in closed session were put into consent. So we have a couple of, do we have any open session? Okay, so some open session motions coming from the consent items that in closed session. 15.1 moved by Councillor Brar, that the purchasing agent be authorized to commence procurement for technology managed detection and response services for a 3-year period. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Next open session is moved by Councillor Tour, Economic Development, that the Chief Administrative Officer be delegated authority to execute a new lease agreement and such documents necessary between the City of Brampton and as the landlord and TMU at 2 Wellington Street, West Brampton, as tenant on such terms acceptable to the Senior Manager of Realty Services and in a form acceptable to the City Solicitor or designate. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. 15.3, open session recommendation, moved by Councillor Keenan, assuming he's online, that the Commissioner of Community Services be delegated authority to execute a new lease agreement and such documents necessary between the City of Brampton as the landlord and Lifemark Health Corp. at 247 McMurtry Avenue South, Brampton, as tenant on such terms acceptable to the Senior Manager of Realty Services and in a form acceptable to the City Solicitor or designate. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. The final item on our agenda is moved by Mayor Brown that the Committee of Council do now adjourn to meet again on Wednesday, June 18th, or at the call of the Chair. All those in favor? That anyone opposed? That carries. Have a great rest of your morning.